Let's hope this cloud cover lasts.
Wireless up to Skipper. I've got an unidentified blip on my screen, Skipper. Low on our starboard quarter.
Skipper to gunners, it looks like we have some company, so keep a sharp eye.
Mid upper here. Roger, Skipper. Will do.
Rear gunner here. You got it, Skipper. Wireless up to Skipper. We've got more company. Another one's directly behind us. They seem to be maintaining a 300-yard distance from us. Shit! I've just picked up a third one, coming in on our left side, port quarter low.
Skipper to gunners, see anything yet?
Nothing yet, Skipper. They must be flying in clear air below the clouds.
Wireless up to Skipper. Must leave visual monitor to receive information.
Skipper to wireless. Make it quick. It's getting brighter ahead.
Wait for it, go! Switches up and knocked out. It's coming around again for another attack. Come on, you mother son of a bitch! You shit! I'll teach you to pick on a poor little defenseless bomber! Get rid of crew and want the starboard inner engine. Prepare to abandon aircraft! Jump! Jump!
This particular point in time, I should have really panicked because I had been struggling and struggling to get out of this burning and spiraling Lancaster. Finally got out into clear air, went to reach for my ripcord, and there wasn't one. So now I was hurtling towards Earth without a parachute. I had just gone over in my mind very quickly that this was almost amusing to think I'd got through all that, and now this was going to happen. However, at this particular point, a bright flash occurred, and it attracted my attention upwards, and I could see a chrome buckle on my parachute harness was following me down, and above that, a dark rectangular blob was also wobbling and spiraling behind that. I immediately recognized that as my parachute pack. So I went to reach for it and instinctively bent my knees, which caused a tug at my ankles. Reaching down, I found that that was indeed the webbing of the harness. The thigh straps had slipped right down, were just about off my heels. With one or two quick hand-over hands, I was able to reach the ripcord. I gave it a distinctive pull, buried my fingers into the webbing, and all of a sudden, that beautiful parachute cracked open. At the same instant, it just tore my fingers apart like that, ripping this ring right off my fingers. My head snapped back, my heels clacked together with a painful snap, and there I hung upside down, suspended. Almost immediately I started to rotate, and I saw the moon go rotating by, and also a roof of a small cottage or house. In preparation for a sudden jarring landing, I was bending my head forward when I suddenly struck the ground. It must have temporarily knocked me out because I was a bit confused for the next few seconds. But then I began to realize that I was lying flat on my back. I could feel a trembling sensation, and I could hear a drone steadily pressing onwards to the eastward. It was the bomber stream disappearing. I then realized that I was alive, might possibly be taken prisoner, but at least I was going to survive long enough to enjoy or see my 21st birthday, which was coming up in a month's time. The rest of the crew, well, Jonesy was really lucky to be alive. His turret was shattered during the attack. Now, he was hit several times by fragments of shrapnel, but none of them appeared too serious. On the way down, as his parachute flipped open, the buckle struck him sharply in the face and cut his lip. He then was able, though, to continue on down and land safely. Up front, Chappie had to unlock the escape hatch and remove it. He was then the first person to bail out of the aircraft. Landing in a vegetable patch below, he undid his parachute, buried it, and then took off across the fields, I think possibly in search of a sap pail. As Jock came floating down, he could see another parachute just below him. It had just landed. He knew this was Jonesy, so he hollered out at him, but Jonesy, thinking it was the enemy, took off across the field with Jock in hot pursuit. Our navigator, Judy, was taken prisoner because he too had been hit badly in the aircraft, unable to run, and the German sentries had fired warning shots into the ground, at which point Judy realized he was absolutely helpless to escape, so he surrendered and consequently spent the rest of the war as a prisoner. After Jonesy bailed out, Ben was the next one to go out through the rear door. He landed in a grain field. The next morning, the underground led me to the place where they'd hidden him. Pulling back a sheave, there sat Ben, blinking in the early morning sunlight. Was I ever glad to see that at least two of us had survived. Sam's turret was badly hit. He was left with only one gun out of the 4, but with this one gun, he kept stubbornly firing away at the enemy. I finally had to tell him to get the hell out of there. Fortunately, going out on the starboard side, he avoided the searing flames rolling down the other side of the aircraft. Tragically, Bob Giffen had received so many shells in the aircraft that we were told the next day that he had died from loss of blood about noon. It was a Saturday, And he was buried in a local plot and proper service conducted by a German priest in the area. Finally, with the exception of Bob Giffen and Judy, the French underground was able to reunite us and get the rest of us on our way back to England.
On July 28, 1944, Sea Charlie was one of the 494 Lancasters that flew towards Stuttgart. German night fighters intercepted the bomber stream over France on the outward flight. By the end of the raid, 39 Lancasters had been shot down. This was nearly 8% of the bomber force.